diving deep, no script, no plan. And your freaking BSK, yeah, we take a stand. From the battlefield to anime dreams, breaking down history, ripping through the seams. Joystick warriors and stories untold, mixing up the real and the brave and the bold. No filter, no leash, we let it all go. Get ready, cause we're taking you below. Welcome to the tangent zone, where the thoughts run wild. Gaming, anime, history compiled. Politics, chaos, whatever we find. Unlock your mind, leave the world behind. This is the tangent zone, where nothing is known. Strap in tight, cause we're never alone.
Hi, and welcome to the Tangent Zone. I am, of course, your host, Antler Freak. And with me, as always, is my co-host, BSK. BSK, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Oh, hanging in there, buddy, hanging in there. Today's episode is going to be kind of a part two. The last episode that we did, we went through and built a little bit of a world for one shot that I'm going to be running towards the end of the month here. It's going to be a cyberpunk themed little one shot that has kind of a mixture of different engines in it. So you've got Cyberpunk Red, you've got Shadowrun, and then the Technomancer's Handbook, which is a guide I found online on GM Binder that is an adaptation for 5e to the cyberpunk world, and kind of using that as an easy way to grasp the mechanics of this world, as well as character creation, making that 10 times easier for players that I'm only going to be with for a short time. So we got to be able to create characters quickly and know what we're doing. So being that this is the second part, we've basically built the world. It's going to take place in Chicago in the year 2097. It is going to be a heist. So the players will have to first get a data shard off of a train. Basically, we're going to jump right into the first heist, excuse me, and then kind of build out the story from there, as this shard is going to be kind of the key to a backdoor for a corporation that will unlock an AI that can basically destroy or build the world. This is going to be a pretty epic one shot, I think. But one thing that we still need to do is NPCs, figure out the corporations, as well as some encounters. Could possibly be a rival gang, a rival crew, some high ranking officials, things like that, to provide some conflict with the crew. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. I had BSK go ahead and pull up our map that we found that I think is going to look really good. It is basically a cyberpunked version of Chicago, complete with basically all the little towns and stuff surrounding Chicago proper. So yeah, as far as NPCs are concerned, I am thinking obviously you're going to have just random people that they might meet, which a lot of that I can do on the fly.
Yeah.
But what I'm needing is important people. We've already decided that you are going to play the role of the fixer or possibly the client, depending on what my players decide that they're going to play. And we've kind of fleshed out your background as well. We think it's going to be kind of neat. We're going to have him call in while we're doing the one shot to provide the players with instructions or information as the game is going. I think it's going to be a really cool kind of surprise for them.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as NPCs that they might meet in this world, what are we thinking? I'm thinking like maybe somebody who runs the building that they're kind of headquartered in. That might be a decent NPC to come up with. Do some random generator stuff here. Let's do this. Move this out of the way. Go over here. Sorry, I've got 100 tabs open, so I'm trying to do this. Let's do So let's do a little bit different. Let's do Cyberpunk. It'd be really cool if I could type. There we go. You'd think I'd have all this stuff set up and ready to go, but good luck.
Now, I did have an idea that I wanted to run by you, and this could also open up an option for another NPC. And I was thinking that it could be potentially interesting if my like cameo character wasn't necessarily the fixer, but a, for lack of a better term, a net runner who hacks into the secure feed of the party to contact them and go, hey, I know about your job, I know about your mission, and I can tell you this: you don't know what you're doing. Your fixer doesn't know the whole story, and if you continue the way you're going right now, you are going to die. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to die because you don't know all the information, and you're walking yourself into a trap.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea. All right.
Because like I was kind of breaking down the idea of like the story, and this is supposed to be like super super like well guarded stuff, right?
Right.
And I'm assuming like the party isn't like the most reputable mercs in town, right? They're probably still establishing. And so their fixer is probably not going to be like a big shot. So he probably lucked out by accessing this information, however small of that information is, and is working with it, but he doesn't have the whole like he doesn't have like the whole picture. And so my character, of course, because he's got his like fingers on the pulse of the city, he finds out about this information and realizes that there is underwoven threads of code that are just red flags, just a sea of red flags. And he sees this group that are literally walking up into this fucking like lion's den, and he's like, huh, this is an opportunity for me to benefit if I keep these guys from dying. But if I don't do anything of it, if I wash my hands of this, they're dead. So it was just an idea.
No, I really
Do
like that idea. At that point, then we still need to have a fixer for them for the job.
yes.
So let's see what I. So we have a fixer whose handle is Slate.
Ooh, I like Slate. Oh, now I'm rooting for Slate.
Say it's kind of a low end fixer looking to make a name for herself by pulling a huge job right off the bat.
I also think it would be kind of interesting that if one of the party members is like technologically keen, like whether they're a net runner or a fixer themselves, doesn't really matter. They may have an idea of who my character is. And in case anyone knows, we kind of came up with a moniker for this character named Entropy. We thought it was kind of a fitting name for him. Kind of like an infamous ghost in the machine.
Yeah, essentially, BSK's character is going to be Netrunner, who basically used to work for Corps and continuously got high up and high up and high up, and then eventually got tired of it. And basically, it was either you leave or you die. And decided to kind of go out on his own. Did a lot with like cryptocurrency, played stock markets, gathered a decent fortune, but because of that kind of lost the thrill of the hunt, breaking down ice and doing deep dives in the net to try and find the next score. It's become too easy. So started digging and ended up finding out about this shard of information, and also found out about the crew tasked with retrieving that. Now, something, and this is again something that can be kind of worked with either closer to or kind of during, I can message you while we're doing it, is your actual relationship with one of the players or something to that effect. Like maybe one of them you used to work with, or you had dealings with, and you, through checking up on them, kind of found out about their crew doing this job. I think that'll be kind of a neat little sidebar for that.
If we have like another netrunner in the party, like it could be like they tried in a kind of like a, you know, in vain to try to like hack into one of like Entropy's servers, and that kind of like got Entropy's attention. They didn't realize it was like Entropy's server. It was just like a really, really guarded server in the middle of Nowhereville. And they're like, huh, I wonder if I can
Or
get into this. And then,
even better is that they not only tried, they succeeded. They actually got in and got out, but obviously you can find traces of netrunners that have been in your system, and you were able to track them out. They didn't get away with anything, but they were still able to break down your firewalls and get into your system. And that being from, for lack of a better term, an amateur netrunner is a big deal, which got your attention, which maybe kind of led you to seeking that person out.
yeah. Like I kind
Yeah.
of like the idea of like when the initial call happens, that like he hacks the neural link of the whole party, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone gets a phone call at the same time.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking too. And that's kind of how I'll play it as well. Be like in the middle of something, and I'll shoot you a message saying, "Hey, call now." And then when I hear it start going off, I'll stop exactly what I'm doing and say, "You all hear your agents going off," which agents are essentially like cell phones in Cyberpunk world.
Yeah.
You hear your agents going off in your neural port, all of you at the same time. It's very odd. And you don't have to pick it up because it automatically goes through, and then I'll set the phone out
Yeah.
and we start going.
Yeah. It's gonna be fucking spicy.
I think so. I think so. I think it's going to be a really neat flavor to it that none of them are going to be expecting.
Oh yeah.
Very excited. My players do know that Stu is helping me out as far as building this one shot. They do not know that he is going to be participating in it as well from a couple thousand miles away. Uh, that's going to be pretty neat. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited about
Oh yeah.
it.
I
Okay.
think it adds another dimension to it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely does. Especially with the amount of tech that I'm going to be using for this, because I've got my laptop, my phone. Actually, I'm going to have two phones because I'm going to load Discord onto another phone that I have, which is what I'm going to use for the actual communications. And then, see, I got the iPad, the two phones, laptop. I might have something else. I don't know. Still working on it. I do have a Kindle Fire book thing that I might take as well, uh, just because I'm probably going to get held up by TSA for all the electronics I have. Funny enough, I'm not going to have any guns on me. So NPCs. So I'll say we pretty much got your stuff sorted out for now until we get more information from the players. Once we
Yeah.
get more information from the players, then we can really delve into your
Yeah.
character.
Hone things in.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as NPCs, so I've got the fixer. If we do it that way, being
Yeah.
Slate, she is a very
She.
yeah
Okay.
she's a former mercenary that has a lot of connections with the military side of the megacorps, just because of the nature of her service with one of them, which I need to. That's something else we need to do, is figure out the corporations, which shouldn't be too difficult because there's a lot of stuff listed on this map. Slate doesn't trust a lot of people and doesn't really. She did a lot of vetting to get the crew together that she has, and because of that, she's. I'm not going to say she trusts the crew, but she is confident that the crew will be able to succeed in stealing this shark. I'd say she's got a lot of obviously military style augmentations, which she kind of leaned into, not to get too much on like the furry side of everything, but she does a lot more with like animalistic implants, very much like jaguar kind of
Okay. Yeah. Kind of like
styles,
feline.
very feline.
Yeah.
like I said, very sleek. She's very slender and yet very powerful. She's got like the lynx legs, so she can move very fast. But she's still, like I said, she's not wanting to be the merc necessarily anymore. She wants to be a fixer, and by
Yeah.
doing this huge job, this is going to put her on the
Yeah. Like she could be
so
like former military or something.
yeah, like I said, she's a mercenary because she was in the military at one point.
Yeah.
For which military, I don't know, as far as whether it be like if we're going with Cyberpunk, right, it'd be like in USA, or if she's part of the corporation militaries, because Militech, Arasaka, that kind of stuff had
Yeah.
their own
Max
militaries.
Tech.
We got Max Tac, which is just the anti cyber psycho squad of the NCPD. I've delved way too much into the lore of this, so but like yeah, Militech, Arasaka, Biotechnica, Savoil, like they all have their own like military wings.
Ooh. Ooh, I like this. I like this a lot because it could be like after the party has encountered entropy for the first time. Maybe they then contact their fixer and going, "Hey, we just got contacted by this weird person called entropy," and she could be like, "Oh shit, that's not good."
Right, yeah, like if
Don't
you're getting
fuck.
contacted by entropy, something's fucked.
Yeah, because
And
nobody's contacted by entropy.
so yeah, that could be a kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, it could add a little bit of gravitas to the whole situation.
Right. So I know we kind of half went over this the last session, um, or the last podcast, as far as the corporations that we're mainly going to be dealing with. So the one that the shard actually belongs to, Kirlian Technology, which, if you look at your map, is like just under the Chicago Medical District. Like he goes Holy Cross Hospital, Hydra Farm, and then Kirlian Technologies. And then I have to kind of go back and look at my notes and everything as far as what we had talked about previously. Yeah, okay, so the ones that want the shard is Gaia, the Greater Ascension Integration. I will edit out the kind of silent portions here because I'm trying to write down things.
Oh, no worries. I think it'd be good to have some other, like maybe like a large gang trying to get their hands on it as well.
I absolutely agree, which I believe we had kind of talked about being the Black Rose Syndicate,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
being kind of a mercenary arm of Kirlian Technology. So Kirlian wouldn't necessarily send out their military wing until it became like Corp v Corp kind of issue.
Oh yeah. Well,
Until
especially when this. Yeah, especially when something like this is supposed to be left like low key, and not to draw attention to it. Because more people know about this thing, the more people will want it, right? So they want to keep this hush hush. Everyone will want to keep it hush hush.
right,
It's like you know, a blank check being circulated. Everyone wants it, but no one wants everyone to know about it. There's less competition.
all right.
Like that.
So yeah,
That's
so
it.
we've got Black Rose Syndicate, which will be the essentially mercenary arm of Kirlian Technology. Uh, whether Kirlian pays them or they pay off the uh, Chicago police to not mess with the whatever they have something on the Black Rose Syndicate that makes them kind of compliant to what the corporation wants. There are other factions within the city that could also either help or hunt the crew. And that's again something that can kind of be built once we figure out what the players want.
Yeah.
Because it could very well be that you have a couple of the players or one player or all of them coming from one of these gangs or all of the gangs or whatever. At which point then we'd have to figure out who it is, if they can contact those members and get some backup and that kind of stuff. Much like in Cyberpunk 2077 with Jackie's connection with the Valentinos, and then obviously depending on uh, your character choice. You could have connections with corporations, just street fixers and things like that, or the nomads themselves, uh, just automatically starting off. Even though there are many, many different gangs uh, within the city. And we can do a lot with that, but I'm not going to know a whole lot about that until we get the player characters situated.
Yeah, that's going to be a crucial factor that will change a lot of things. So that's why we're making a lot of almost like vague plans, so that way it can be molded when the time comes.
It's relatively fluid. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very confident in my improv abilities, so I can make up a lot of stuff on the fly. So as long as I have just a backbone of what's going on, we can make it work. And like I said, I'm going to have a lot of technology with me, so I'll be able to contact Stu or BSK and possibly even Ty. Maybe I might include him. Let's see about that. But I'll have the means to be able to be like, hey, what do you think about this? What's going on here? Um, come up with something for me. And then, like I said, I'll have my laptop and stuff, so I can Google stuff. I can come up with anything really on the fly to make all that work. Excuse me, I didn't grab a
yeah,
drink today. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of things, a lot of places that we can go with this. Obviously, being a one shot, I don't want to be all over the map trying
no,
to go from place to place. I think the longest or the most amount of space that's going to be taken up is going to be on the train, because obviously it's basically a bullet train. It's moving very fast, and they have very little time to the shard and get off the train before something happens. And it's very possible that they might not ever get off the train. Like it could the story could end before it really even starts. It's a very real possibility, especially in this genre of game. Um, it's a very easy thing to die in this kind of a situation.
and this one shot is also like a good way of like dipping the toes into the proverbial waters of like a cyberpunk storyline. And I know Antler Freak has mentioned this before, but this could be a precursor to perhaps making a full out campaign in this setting. So we could easily have it so that the events that happen in this one shot impacts the world of the campaign as well. Of this theoretical possible campaign that comes afterwards. So if something bad happens on the train, like an explosion happens, the train gets derailed, and it takes out like several city blocks. You know, the next campaign could be like the players in the next campaign have to deal with like the aftermath of that. You know, that could be another thing.
Right?
We're
Or
making
they
a
have
world.
to, kind of continue that. They have to find that shard,
Yeah,
and once they get that shard, then we continue on and start doing some other stuff. At which point, if it gets put into a full blown campaign, I can do all kinds of different things rather than trying to shove everything into a one shot. But
yeah,
I'm assuming that most likely, especially because I kind of know, how my players' minds work, that they're gonna figure out a way to get it done. Uh,
they're
so
crafty.
going from there into that one shot or the rest of the one shot, then we got to make sure that everything flows correctly. You're going to have a little bit of downtime, but not much, because this was a big heist, and
Yeah, there's
the
going to be
odd
people
thing,
hunting them.
yeah, they're going to get hunted. And whether that be people from the Black Road Syndicate, or or just other mercs hired by different fixers, because there's other people looking for this shard so that they can get paid as well. I mean, you're looking at multiple other corporations that are willing to put out almost any price for this shard.
Yeah,
Somehow this information got leaked, and it's kind of a mad dash to get the information, to get the shard, to get um, that back door into this company.
and to stay alive.
Yeah, to stay alive doing it. So once the players have this shard, it then becomes a race against the clock to figure out the secrets of the shard and what to do from there. So yeah,
Oh, I like that.
I'm actually going to be relying on you a lot, BSK, for that kind of stuff, as far as contacting the players and kind of giving them tasks to do to either use the information to get the AI, to use the back door to shut the corporation down so that nobody can use the AI, to just go in and destroy that, or to sell it to someone who they think is going to do good with it. There's a lot of different ways this can go. And
Yeah.
like I said, I'm going to kind of rely on you a little bit as far as giving tasks to do specific things depending on what the players want to
Yeah.
do. Which
Yeah.
we can set up kind of like scenario stuff for different situations. Like, if they get the call and they're like, we want nothing to do with this thing because this thing's radioactive. We don't want to be anywhere near it.
Which would be like the normal person's reaction to
Right.
it.
Like, oh, hell no. I don't want that. Nope. Nope. Thank you. I'm good. I like my head and face where they are. But, if that becomes the case, then essentially I have to come up with an entire one shot on the fly.
Oh, I was kind of thinking about that because if they're like, nope, I want nothing to do with that. I kind of like the idea of entropy kind of being like, unfortunately, by the time you accepted the job, it was already too late for you guys. You know, people know that you're after it. People other than me know that you're after this shard, which means those people are also going to be after you. Regardless if you pursue the key or the shard or not, it doesn't matter. You're on their radar. You can't take it back. The cards are already on the table. It is what it is. So you either play it through or just let them kill you.
I mean, that could also go a couple different ways as well, because I mean, you could say that and they still be like, okay, so the first ones that come at us will just be like, here it is. Leave us
Yeah,
alone.
absolutely.
And if you got somebody that's charismatic enough,
Oh yeah.
it'll work.
That's the great thing about TTRPGs, man. Like the party always seems to find a way to choose the option that has not been decided yet.
Right, and that's why like I said, like I got to think about that kind of stuff, especially with this group, because I know them. They love combat, but will talk their way out of it every time.
Like, you know what, bad guy? How about we talk about this over some shawarma?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a nice shop over there. Let's go have some shawarma.
We can figure this out. We can find some common ground. It's very funny. But yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that me as a DM, especially like I said with this group, I have to think about because they will derail me every time. So I can't plan too much. If I do, it's just going to make me mad, and then I'm going to be lost. So yeah, we
At
need
least you're not
to.
dealing with murder hobos. I mean, that's a
For
blessing.
the most part, yeah, they don't really do that, which is really nice. Because if it was, then I would murder hobo them back, which I believe I've proven with Co.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that like there's two major arteries when it comes to parties that derail the story. You have the destructive derailing, and then you have like a squirrel type of derailing.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
our party is mostly squirrels.
Oh yeah, mostly sports.
Yeah.
Now the good thing is that with it being a one shot, I can kind of be railroady just because we have a certain amount of time that we have to tell this story, and that's all we get. So if it
Yeah.
doesn't get told, it doesn't get told. So I can kind of railroad them. I can be like, nah, yeah, you really want to do this thing, or you don't really want to do this thing, and then go from there. So I can kind of lead them that way. I don't like to railroad too much, as you know. I'm very
Yeah.
sandboxy. I'm all about player agency. If you do what you want to do, I can plug stuff in where we go. But at the same time, when you're running a one shot, you have one chance to get this done, and it's just how it is. Now,
Yeah.
as we were talking about a little bit earlier, if we decided to use this kind of program to make a campaign, then we can get into all kinds of fun stuff with this.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, this works out well enough to where we do that. I would love to run a campaign like this, but that's kind of. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously, this one's going to be in person versus online. one thing that we have been talking about doing when starting the next campaign that we do is doing it in podcast form. So being able to see each other, and me being able to use my hands and kind of give you facial expressions and things like that, I think are going to really help in especially this kind of a situation. But we can go into that later. That's not a thing that we need to talk about right now.
Yeah, and it's also not decided what the party wants out of the next campaign. For all we know, it could be another D&D campaign. Like, it's
Could very
all
well,
up in
yeah.
the air right now. It's all up in the air. Like, if and like I said, if like I said to you, Antler Freak, if it does end up being another D&D campaign, that's when I'm gonna that's where I'm gonna introduce Blugels.
Good old Blugels. I'll put a picture up of Blugels. There's just something we were screwing around with the other day, and it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be real funny
Oh yeah,
whenever we get a chance to play Blugels.
oh yeah.
But yeah,
For
note to self,
context, I
note to
yeah.
self, put a picture up, and you'll get to see Blugels.
For quick context, I was trying to make a BSK logo, and it ended up creating because the AI has a hard time with words. It ended up with Blugels. Yeah, so it's now going to be a new character at some point, and it's going to be hilarious. I think we've kind of came up with a quick idea of him being like what was it, a gnome
The gnome
bloodmancer,
blood hunter.
blood hunter? Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna send you a picture, BSK. I can't show the picture on YouTube because rules, but it's an AI generated picture of what Slate looks like.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea, right? That's what it came up with, purely random.
Blade's got some cake.
Yeah, yeah, she's got a cake to her. This is a weird
Yep.
one too. So needing to come up with more NPCs. So we've got Slate, and she's the fixer who was a merc turned. Let's see, what else do we need? So probably a
Oh,
higher up.
Ripper Doc. Yeah. Someone to patch them up.
Okay, I got one. So the Ripper Doc, also female, will have the handle of Splint.
That's fitting. Let's see.
Real name is Corey Tucker.
I like that. I mean, it's all going to be dependent on the player's choices of characters, because it'd be good to have like a contact like in one of the gangs. If they're a street kid, maybe they have some type of affiliation, or if they're maybe one of them has I guess a CPD connection, Chicago Police Department
Yeah,
connection, or it might be important to have at least one like named police officer just in case they do get pursued. And
probably a detective, I would
yeah, I was
think.
thinking like a detective or yeah, or sergeant.
Let's do another one. Oh, I like it. Okay. Um, Hank Yamada,
I like that.
Detective Hank Yamada. Say he's been on the force for like 20 years, close to retirement.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm an old grizzled cop, not very many implants. Kind of likes to do things the old fashioned way, which you think about the old fashioned way is like the 2030s, 2040s. So it's still you know way more advanced than what we have,
Yeah,
but it still has that kind of chip on his shoulder of solid police work over technology.
yeah.
I like that. I like that. I would say we probably need a leader for the Black Rose Syndicate.
Uh, I'll Mara Flux.
Mara Mara.
Mara, yeah.
Okay. Mara Flux. Give me some backstory.
So you said she's this is for the Black Rose Syndicate, right? I almost want to rip a page out of 2077 and say that she is has some type of familial connection to Killian, like maybe like her dad is a higher up in Killian, and she's kind of like um, you know gets bankrolled to do her what she does by her father.
So here's something. Kind of just kind of stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Her father is an executive vice president of Kirlian Technologies.
Yeah.
Her mother, whose name is Rose, started the Black Rose Syndicate as kind of a mercenary group for Kirlian technology.
Yeah, I like
Her
that.
mother died probably doing work for the corporation, or something went south and she was taken out. Her daughter then takes over the
Her
syndicate.
mother is her mother was assassinated. How about that? Her mother was
That there
assassinated.
we go. Yeah, there we go.
Nobody knows who killed Rose, but we do because it was entropy.
Mother was Rose.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that a lot.
and this stuff, may never come to light, but it would be cool lore if we continue this on in a campaign.
Absolutely, and it also helps give motivation for the NPCs,
Mm-hmm.
especially because you're the one who's going to be playing them. So if you have a motivation for that character, it's easier to roleplay them
Yeah, and if
because different motivations will determine like the candor of them, and like whether or not they are a patient character or a very irritable character. Like everyone has baggage, and that baggage kind of like forms and shapes you. So
so, let's see. So we need her father because that could very well come up. Father's name is Evan Addison, which I'll say, Mara's given name is Addison. So it'd be Mara Addison, but Mara Flux is her handle, and it's what all of her underlings know her as. Oh yeah, because then her mother, like, most likely would have been called Mama Rose when she was leading
yeah,
the syndicate.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. God, I like that.
So she's running the syndicate. What if she has a twin brother, who's like the general, who deals with like organizing and overseeing like
Like
tactical strikes?
second in command.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all
We
right.
could have his name like I don't know, Orion,
I like that actually. I like it. Let's run with it.
Orion Flux.
Just keep it Orion.
Okay.
You know what? His real name is Hunter Addison because Orion is the hunter. Black Rose Syndicate. I think that's probably all we really need for them. Obviously, if we
Oh yeah.
need any other lower NPCs, that's not a big deal. Come up with that stuff on the spot. Trying to think of any other
It,
corporations that might run into.
it does give an opportunity for some fodder because if like the party ends up fighting the Black Rose Syndicate and ends up killing a whole bunch, maybe they accidentally kill Hunter, which gives Mara a blood vendetta.
Yeah. So now, not
Like
only are we searching for the shard, we now want to kill everyone involved, whether they want to hand it over or not. They're going to die.
exactly.
Yeah, that could very much be a thing.
Yeah.
I like Club Vortex to be like kind of a fixer bar, much like the
Kind of like the
Afterlife or
afterlife.
Atlantis, and it's kind of like a near North Side club.
Okay. I like that. Just for flavor, we could come up with some named drinks, just like the afterlife,
Yeah,
after like famous mercs.
absolutely. That could be real cool.
Yeah.
Um, which I can do random generator stuff for that too. Another NPC, a mercenary lawman. So somebody who's a cop by day and like edge runner by night. Perfect. Goes with a handle bipolar. Real name Steve Benson.
I like it. Definitely like an unhinged type of character. For some reason, I'm thinking of like Steve Buscemi.
Damn it, Donnie.
Exactly. Or fucking Steve Buscemi from fucking Billy Madison.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I got a pretty decent little bit here. I've got a few NPCs. Got the the main antagonist corporation and gang kind of sorted out. I've got the original owners of the shard in question and the group that is wanting it, that is putting the job out for it. Got the club, the fixer bar. I think anything else we might need just right off the bat. I don't really think so because I think most of the other, like as far as the gangs, I'm not real worried about. Most of them are pretty spread out and can come up with something pretty quickly.
Yeah. I did have an idea. It would be kind of like a random encounter type of character in case they end up utilizing it. But I think it'd be fun to have like a super like sketched out taxi driver. Like the party needs to get to a certain place. They don't have a ride, so they call a cab and they get this guy. And he like pulls in like Ace Ventura style, just like fucking tumbling the car into the parking spot. And he's like, "Get in, bitch, we're late."
I just had this picture of the car sliding in, like drifting into a spot, and rather than just being cool and sliding right there and then rolling down the window, that he actually flips the car,
Yeah,
crawls out of it, and says, "What are you waiting for? We gotta go!" And then gets into the car that's in front of it, like pulls
yeah,
whoever's in it out.
exactly.
We gotta go.
Yeah,
Like he's got his little meter that he brings with him, puts it
it's
up
like a
there.
portable meter. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
I
got
said,
it.
it's super random type of character, but in the off chance that someone's like, "Well, maybe we should call a cab," you're like, "Oh, I have just the person for you guys. You
I
are
got
not
it.
safe."
I got it. I'm writing it down. Let's see here. Taxi driver. His name is Will Yamazaki,
He has to have like a
and
nickname like Tweaker or something.
I got it. Cyclone.
Cyclone.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he's a
I like
friggin'
it.
hurricane.
Yeah. It's hard to tell if he has had too much drugs or not
Or
enough
not enough.
drugs.
Somebody get
But
this man
whatever the
some black
case,
ice. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. It even comes up with a canned line. Hope you got trauma team, June. Oh, that is perfect.
Awesome.
Oh man, I like that. I'm gonna write that down too.
Bet you were wishing that you went for platinum this time.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Immediately have to go from point A to point B. We call a cab. Oh, I know a guy. He'll get us where we need to go. Whether we'll be in one piece when we get there.
He'll get you there. It may not be a straight line, and it might not always be on the road, but
Oh
you'll get
my
there.
goodness. Oh Lord. That's gonna be so fun to play. I can't
Like
wait.
you hear odds like dragging, scratching sound, and you look behind and there's sparks flying, and you're like, "Oh, I think there's something dragging." He's like, "Yeah, it's a tricycle. Don't worry about it."
It's a tricycle. Man. I had to go through the playground to get here. We gotta go. Max Tax on its way. He pulls out his meter and the police scanner.
Yeah,
I'm taking this card out.
he jacks into the car just to give the car an obnoxious horn.
Yeah,
Like,
Lord. Okay. This is fun. I like this.
yeah. And it's a good way of injecting a little bit of humor into it in case it gets a little too serious as well.
Right. Especially because I'm assuming this is probably going to happen relatively early, like after they get the shard and they need to get from point A to point B
Exactly.
and quickly. I'll be like, pick one of them and be like, hey, you know of a taxi driver that is good when you need him now.
Yeah.
All you have to do is ring him.
And the great thing about him is it is nearly impossible to track him because
Yeah.
he's so unpredictable.
You don't know where he's going to be at any given time. He doesn't know where he's going to be at any given time.
Like halfway through the trip, he's like, "Get out!" He grabs another car. Get in!
He just smokes a pole. He's like, all right, everybody out. Pick that one. He like points back at one of them. All right, you need to lean out. Shoot those guys.
You look like you have a steady aim. Don't miss. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like fucking like got a whole bunch of just unmatching like augments as well.
Oh yeah, like he looks
different.
just super weird.
Yeah,
Like
I love
part
it.
of his faceplate, like just over one eye says Arasaka, the other side says Militech. It's like he kind of like it's kind of like that.
Yeah, he always looks like kind of confused or just completely like sketched.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like it was on
I
sale.
love it. Yeah, it was the last fair. But yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's
I love making stupid characters like that.
oh,
It's
that is
so fun.
beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That's very much like well, you weren't in the campaign, the Monday night campaign when we did the beginning. They went to an island, and one of the NPCs on the island was a literal chicken.
Yeah,
And
we literally talked about that
yeah,
last
we talked
session.
about it. And the chicken's name was Chicken, and it was an awakened chicken
Oh
that
my
sold
god.
produce. So chicken is actually like, or it's not Monday night; it's the Tuesday night campaign. But yeah,
It is Tuesday night?
yeah, it is Tuesday night.
Dude.
Chicken is your character's direct competitor,
Yes.
and Chicken is the best. I love
That's
Chicken.
awesome.
I made Chicken up on the
I,
spot, and that was one of the best things I've ever
I
made.
was gonna say I need to bring this guy into the fold for fucking Holy Knight Corporation.
Where I can manage it, like not super high intelligence and pretty manipulative or manipulative, able to be manipulated.
Manipulative.
No,
Yeah.
it's not particularly manipulative. He's able to be manipulative. They're manipulated.
Yes.
So gullible. Well,
Gullible. Yeah.
but yeah, that was Chicken.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite NPCs ever. But yeah, back to this. I think we're kind of good as far as the basics for it. I mean, as far as encounters, I think we can kind of come up with an encounter table or a list of encounters that we can run into. Not necessarily on here. I can kind of do random encounter generators and things like that. But outside of that, I really don't think there's a whole lot more. Unless there's anything else you
Yeah.
want to add.
I'm sure I could think of something, but not off the top of my head. We have the major players basically decided. We have kind of like the basics of the direction that which we want things to go. We have some contingency plans. We have some contingency characters. And we have some stir the pot characters. So, a Cyclone.
Yep, Cyclone. Got the random lawman Merc that could be part of a crew trying to get him. Being
What was the name
bipolar.
of the bar again?
The bar is Club Vortex.
Club Vortex.
Yeah, and it actually has a
Probably
map
should
location.
we should probably come up with a name for the bartender. Because if they
That's
do go
true.
there, they're probably going to try to have a conversation with the bartender.
Yep, that's pretty. Man,
In
they love
case,
furries on this thing.
in case they want to start shit in the club, maybe have like a club owner name as well. In case they need to get involved. In case a bar fight starts, and I don't know.
No, I like that.
Tiffany Vanderbilt comes down with her 12 gauge. That's I'm assuming going to be essentially like
How
the
about
safe
Marina
place.
Dane Vortex? So let's go bartender Marina Dane.
We should go by Mistress D. In Pirates of the Caribbean, what was the name of Davy Jones' love interest?
Calypso.
Um, Calypso. That could be her nickname
I like that.
because the bar is Vortex, right?
Yeah, I like that. I'll say the club owner. His name's Traeger. Just the one name. Nobody knows his real name. He was a big time fixer, much like Rogue in Cyberpunk 2077. Uh,
Okay.
that came to essentially be big enough that didn't have to be a fixer anymore. Bought the bar, decided to kind of make it into a meeting place for crews and fixers um, to kind of get together. Kind of a mysterious figure, doesn't really come out much. Every once in a while, you hear what might be his voice over the intercom in the actual bar itself, asking for a certain person to come upstairs. But outside of that, nothing's really known of him. He's kind of scrubbed himself from the net and just kind of keeps to himself and collects his money.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I like that
Like, not even Entropy knows who this guy really is.
because he's off the grid.
Yeah, he's
He's
completely
he's
put himself off.
like completely analog. Yeah, I like that.
Like, he may or may not even have any implants at this point. At least none that are hackable. I like that. Just named Traeger.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. All right. So we got the owner, we got the bartender. Anybody else inside we can make up on the spot.
Yep.
You know what? I think this might just kind of do it. yeah, let's go ahead and
I
call
agree.
it here. Sorry, it's a bit of a short episode. I'm sure you all are super sad about that. But yeah, let's go ahead and end it here. BSK, thank you for joining me yet again, and
Thanks for
thank
having me.
all of you for watching. I hope all of you have a pleasant day or evening or morning or whenever you're deciding to watch this, and we'll see y'all next time.
We're diving deep, no script, no plan. And your freaking BSK, yeah, we take a stand. From the battlefield to anime dreams, breaking down history, ripping through the seams. Joystick warriors and stories untold, mixing up the real and the brave and the bold. No filter, no leash, we let it all go. Get ready, cause we're taking you below. Welcome to the tangent zone, where the thoughts run wild. Gaming, anime, history compiled. Politics, chaos, whatever